Okay guys, hear me out. I know that studying is super stressful. It can be really overwhelming, and it's just not for the faint of heart 90% of the time. That's okay. That's why I'm here today, and I have like this immaculate study plan that works with my entire schedule. I'm a college student and I do school like the whole 9 yards. And I do online school. So if you do online school, it's even better, but this will work for everybody. Hey guys, it's Asher, and today in this video, as I mentioned a minute ago, we're going to be going over some study tips. I'm also going to discuss some like time management tips, because I know that can be really difficult and really stressful to like think about, situate, and like organize. I'm also going to show you some of my study habits that I use. You get to kind of watch me study a little bit, do some schoolwork. Not too much, but just enough to where you can kind of grasp what I'm getting at. Now that we've kind of gone over everything that I'm going to discuss in this video, just kind of like just the base of it, now we can talk about what's super important when you're studying, kind of the foundation, which is your environment. So that's like the area you study in. Me personally, I live in a super small apartment, so I don't really have the space for like a desk, chair, stuff like that. So I use my coffee table. Which it can get kind of messy because it's the only table I have. So I always have to clean it off before I get started studying, but I kind of like cleaning anyway. It helps me to digress, kind of breathe, relax, get in the moment, focus on something. It's really helpful. This is just a quick kind of a time lapse of me cleaning off my table, getting my environment set up. There is a lot of boxes in the background. I apologize. I'm kind of in the process of moving right now. But yeah, this is the space that I have. This is actually the only table in my apartment, so this is really what I have to work with. I really like to wipe it down, put a nice candle out, and just really set the mood. For studying, I typically don't have a lot of supplies just because, like I said, I am an online student. I have an iPad, and I also have my Apple Pencil, and I have my phone. I also have a Bluetooth keyboard that I connect, so my iPad kind of turns into a computer. But other than that, I really don't see myself needing much. I did try notebooks in the past, but I've learned that I just like using everything on my iPad more. It helps me stay more organized, and I just prefer digitally. Although if you don't, that is entirely your thing. You go girl, like you work it, but I personally cannot do that. Once you have set up your space that works for you, whether it be a little nook, maybe a beanbag, maybe you're like me and you don't really have a place and it's just a table, that is so cool. I believe that it is completely possible to make something out of nothing with whatever you have. The next step is going to be to organize our time. It's great to have a place to work, but now we need to have like the time to work, because there's no point in making a whole spot for it if you never have the time for it. You know what I mean? And it's also really hard to focus on what you're doing and convince yourself, motivate yourself to do what you need to do if you never really have like a time block for it. If you're always like, I'll do it later, that's cool and fine, but then later's gonna come and you're never gonna do it. So it just helps to have a little schedule. I really like to use Google Calendar to keep track of my assignments and my seminars and my work that I have to do, just because I can change the color on it, I can make it fit my aesthetic, and I can sync it between all my devices, which is literally just my phone and my iPad, but it's really helpful. My weekly schedule for my classes, and it's probably a lot different than yours, especially if you are in like a physical school where you go to school every day. Because I am in a online school, my classes are a little bit different. I have 2 seminars a week because I'm in 2 classes right now, in history of psychology and psychology of addiction. I have a seminar on Wednesday night and Thursday night, so I have to block off an hour of each night to attend those seminars live. And then I also have to block out enough time within the week so that I can get all my work done by Tuesday. I typically aim to do all of my schoolwork after I get off of work when I finish my job, which typically tends to be towards 8 and 9 o'clock at night, just so during the day, if I'm not working or before I go to work, I have enough time to go, grocery shopping, do errands I have to do, hang out with my dog, like just take care of things I have to do and not really worry about schoolwork as much. I also feel like nighttime is just so much more calming to do schoolwork, as opposed to waking up and being groggy. Like I can't do that. I envy the people who can wake up and get a coffee and go to a coffee shop and do all their schoolwork. I tried to be that girl. I cannot be that girl. All to you if you can though, really. I know I mentioned time blocking a minute ago. Typically how I time block is I'll work for an hour and then I'll take a 15-minute break just to kind of scroll on my phone, eat a snack, drink water, keep myself like going. And then I will work for another 30 minutes, just kind of like wind down, but still get something done. Like I said, that may not work for you. It works for me. I also typically don't have that much work I have to do. I have like discussion posts and maybe like a paper or quiz, but that's really it. So I don't need a whole lot of work time to do my work. You know what I mean? That was like a whole jumble there. I do use a few different apps for my schooling, studying, scheduling, just everything in that kind of area. I do definitely use a bunch of apps for it. I think my big main ones would be GoodNotes, Google Docs, Zoom, and my Google Calendar, like I mentioned earlier. Zoom, kind of for the obvious reasons, like I have seminars I have to attend and they just happen to use a Zoom call. So I ended up downloading the app, so I didn't have to join from the web each time. But you don't have to download Zoom, it's entirely up to you. GoodNotes, I really like GoodNotes. I love GoodNotes. I use it for everything. I use it for so much more than schoolwork. I paid a one-time membership for the year. I think it was like $15. And that gets me access to a whole bunch of different things, but there's definitely a free version of it if you do not want to pay. But I think with the free version, you only get about 3 notebooks, which I know is perfectly fine for some people. I'm really picky about having like everything in its own notebook, own journal. So it really works for me to pay for it. If you do not want to pay for GoodNotes, you do not have to by any means. There's another app called Notability. I know that a lot of people use it. I have never used it before personally. I've actually heard some people say they like it more than GoodNotes. I feel like that's objective. Like I said, I've never used it, so I couldn't give my opinion on it. But that is definitely something to try if you don't want to pay for GoodNotes. I've also heard that some people use this app called Notion. I've downloaded it. I've tried to figure it out, but it's super confusing for me. It's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming. I feel like if you know how to use it or if you're willing to work towards it, that could be something that's super helpful with organization. But like I said, it's really overwhelming for me, so I don't even try. Google Docs, I really use it to write like my papers, plan out discussion posts, do outlines of different assignments that I have. Plus, it's the format that I can turn in my assignments to, so I really like Google Docs. I also use it to copy and paste things from the internet that I have to use, and then I'll put like my sources on it. It's really helpful. And I already gave you the whole spiel about Google Calendar a minute ago, so I'm not even gonna do that to you again. But long story short, those are all the ones that I use, and they've proven themselves to be super helpful to me. Now we're done talking about time management. I've told you all the apps I use. Now you get to watch me study. Basically, I'm just gonna kind of go over how my study sessions look, and if you see anything that you like, anything sticks out to you, you can grab it, take it for yourself. I do not mind. Hey guys, it's Voiceover Asher back here. This is my iPad that I actually use for editing my videos and my schoolwork. I also have an Apple Pencil that I use. It's not an Apple Pencil. I got it on Amazon, but you don't need to spend a whole lot of money. Basically, right now what I'm doing is I'm kind of writing down my goals for this study session. I've found that helps me stay motivated, really prioritize what I have to do. And then, as you'll see in a second here, I have a chocolate bar because I decided to take my 15-minute break a little bit early. I was getting hungry. This one is very good. I have to say, this is like my favorite chocolate bar. It's got a cute little design on it. I just think it's really important to keep your mind and your body kind of satisfied while you're studying. That way you don't have any weird urges or cravings. Stay hydrated. This is me drinking water. And now I'm back studying a little bit more. This is me actually replying to a discussion post that I had to do for one of my classes. Almost did it a little bit late, but I got it turned in, and I think I also completed a quiz here too as well. So it's always good to take a little break, let your mind sit, and just get stuff done. You got it. A big important thing that I do think everybody should kind of gear towards is a goal. I'm sorry, my dog is fighting herself in the mirror right now. I think everybody should have a study goal, whether it's I'm going to finish an assignment in the time that I'm working, or I'm gonna finish one discussion post or something easy, at least so you have a gear towards. And then if you finish that and you're I could do some more, then you do some more. But it's just a way to kind of keep yourself motivated, because if you go into it and you're just I'm gonna do whatever I can, then you get kind of overwhelmed with all the things that you could be doing. So I think it's really important to have a goal set just in case. So now that I've kind of gone over what my study sessions look like, I can give you some tips about how you can make your study sessions a little bit better and maybe get like the most potential out of what you could be doing. Some basic tips that help me when I'm studying. Note cards are really good. I used to use physical note cards, but I just found that they would get lost super easily, or they would get trashed by accident. Like, it was not working out for me. So I actually switched over to digital note cards, which have worked out really well for me. I use Quizlet as well. I've actually been using Quizlet since I was in the 4th grade. It has been saving my life for over 10 years. So shout out to Quizlet. Love Quizlet. If you don't know what Quizlet is, it was free when I started using it. They have a paid membership now, just like everything else does. I don't pay for it. I just take advantage of the free things on it. I know GoodNotes also has a study tape thing where you can tape it and then tap on it, which I can go more in depth on different features of GoodNotes in a different video. But there's different apps that you can use to do note cards. I would highly recommend note cards. You could also have a friend help quiz you on it. If you're like me, you don't have any friends, that's totally cool because I understand. You can also, this is going to be controversial, but you can use ChatGPT. Personally, ChatGPT is my best friend. You can give it your coursework. Like, I just take pictures of my notes and I'll be like, hey, can you help me study these? And then it'll give you a bunch of different ways you can study them. I really like ChatGPT. It's helped me a lot with more than just school, but it has helped me a lot. So I think that's also a good source to use. Distractions are a really big thing, especially nowadays with social media, notifications, text messages, things like that on our phones. I have a do not disturb setting on my phone called Schoolwork, and it has a different background. I don't get any notifications at all except for emergency ones. I think from my mom is the only one I'll allow to come through. And I also the only apps I will allow on my phone during this time are the ones that I mentioned earlier, GoodNotes. I have an app for my school, and then I think ChatGPT. And those are the only ones I use. But that really helps me to stop from checking my phone, because even if I go to check my phone, it's just a white screen. So I would highly recommend doing that. It's not super hard to figure it out. I'm sure there's a TikTok video or YouTube video somewhere where you could probably figure out how to do it. But it's super helpful to do that because it really minimizes the distraction. Because even if you absent-mindedly go to check your phone, you open it, you'll see it, and you'll be like, oh wait, this is on my school thing, I should probably study. Prioritizing tasks is also something that I've seen a lot of people have some difficulties with, which is completely understandable because, like I said before, it can get super overwhelming if you have a whole lot of stuff you have to do. Typically, what I usually recommend is to I like to call it the study sandwich, which is really, really corny, I know, but hear me out. You start off with something simple, something like maybe a learning activity or a really easy assignment, something that's not going to take you too long, not a whole lot of brain power, just to kind of a warm up. And then you can do a hard assignment, a long, maybe a reading, a paper, a project, something like that. And then at the end, for the last 30 minutes, for me it'd be the last 30 minutes, but for you it'd be however you have it set up. Then at the end you would do another simple assignment, maybe you have another learning activity, or maybe you have an ungraded quiz or something like that. Just kind of a warm up and then a wind down. That way you don't leave off on, God, I hate this test, and you leave off on, that was cool, I got a 100. It kind of helps you. It helps a little bit with prioritizing things. Thank you guys so much for staying for this entire video. It really means a lot to me. If you couldn't tell, this is my first video on this channel. Remember, with studying, the key is just to stay consistent. Don't bully yourself into it. Don't burn yourself out. It's totally okay to take a break, to take a day off where you just don't do anything. That is completely okay. Just stick to what works with you. Stick with what works for you. And I promise you will see yourself getting better grades. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, or if you have any study tips that I did not mention here that you would like to share with me, I will be reading all of them. So just drop them down, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.